The clock on the cafe wall seemed to mock her with each passing minute. 35 minutes late and counting. Emma sighed, stirring her now cold coffee for the 100th time, wondering why she'd even bothered to put on her favorite dress. If you're watching this story unfold, you might recognize that sinking feeling, the realization that you've been stood up. Stay with me to discover how one failed blind date changed Emma's life forever in ways she never could have imagined. If you enjoy stories about unexpected second chances and the beautiful chaos of finding love in the most surprising places, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more heartwarming content that reminds us all that sometimes, life's disappointments lead us exactly where we need to be. Emma checked her phone again. No messages, no missed calls. Just the cheerful background photo of her and her sister Olivia, both smiling on their trip to the coast last summer. Olivia, who had convinced her that this blind date was a can't-miss opportunity with the perfect guy. Emma made a mental note to remind her sister that her matchmaking days were officially over. The waitress approached again, sympathy etched across her face. Another coffee, hon? Or maybe something stronger? Emma shook her head. Just the check, please. I think I've been. The cafe door swung open, letting in a gust of autumn air and the sound of children's laughter. Emma glanced up instinctively, then froze. Two identical little girls in matching red coats and pigtails had burst into the cafe, their cheeks flushed from the cold. They couldn't have been more than 5 years old, with wide brown eyes scanning the room with purpose. That's her, one of them stage whispered, pointing directly at Emma. The lady with the pretty blue dress and the flower in her hair. Before Emma could process what was happening, the twins were standing at her table, identical smiles revealing matching gaps where their front teeth should have been. My daddy's sorry he's late, they announced in perfect unison. There was an emergency. Emma blinked, completely bewildered. I think you have the wrong person. Are you Emma? The slightly taller twin asked. Yes, but... Then you're the right person, the other twin declared triumphantly. I'm Lily, and this is Lucy. Daddy said to tell you he'll be here in exactly 3 minutes and 47 seconds. He's parking the car. Emma's mind raced. Her blind date had children? Twins? Olivia had conveniently left out that rather significant detail. He said to give you this, Lucy said, carefully placing a slightly crushed daisy on the table. It's not as pretty as the one in your hair, but Daddy said it was important to bring a flower when you're late for a date. Despite herself, Emma felt a smile tugging at her lips. Did he now? Lily nodded solemnly. He also said we should tell you that he's not usually late, but Mrs. Peterson's cat got stuck in a tree again, and Daddy had to climb up to get him down. And then the cat scratched him. Lucy added with dramatic flair. Right on his hand. We wanted to put a band-aid on it, but Daddy said we were already super late to meet the pretty lady. Emma's irritation was rapidly dissolving into curiosity. Your dad climbs trees to rescue cats? Only on Tuesdays and emergencies, Lily explained, as if this made perfect sense. The cafe door opened again, and Emma looked up to see a tall man with tousled dark hair rushing in, slightly out of breath. He wore a navy blue sweater with what appeared to be cat hair on one shoulder and a small bandage wrapped around his right hand. His eyes found Emma immediately, and the look of relief on his face was palpable. You're still here, he said, approaching the table. I was afraid you'd have given up on me by now. I'm Jack, by the way. Jack Bennett. And I see you've already met my welcoming committee. The twins beamed up at their father with unmistakable adoration. They mentioned something about a cat emergency? Emma said, finding herself smiling despite her earlier frustration. Jack ran his uninjured hand through his hair, looking embarrassed. Mrs. Peterson is our 80-year-old neighbor. Her cat, Napoleon, thinks he's a mountain lion until he gets about 20 feet up a tree. Then he remembers he's terrified of heights. Daddy's rescued him 7 times. Lucy announced proudly. 8 now, Jack corrected with a sheepish smile. I'm so sorry about being late. I know first impressions are important, and showing up with a cat scratch and 2 unexpected +1s probably wasn't what you were expecting. There was something disarmingly genuine about his apology that made Emma's remaining annoyance evaporate. Well, your +1s did bring me a flower, so I think we're off to a decent start. Jack's smile widened, revealing a dimple in his left cheek. May I sit down? I promise the rest of the date will be less chaotic. Emma glanced at the twins, who were now whispering to each other and giggling. Somehow I doubt that. Fair point, Jack conceded with a laugh. But I can promise it won't be boring. As Jack settled into the chair across from her, Emma had the strangest feeling that her life had just taken an unexpected turn. She'd come expecting a simple blind date, coffee with a stranger who might or might not be worth a second meeting. Instead, she found herself drawn into the orbit of not just one person, but 3, each with their own gravitational pull. The waitress returned, eyebrows raised in surprise at the new arrivals. Looks like your date finally showed up, with reinforcements. Could we get 2 hot chocolates with extra whipped cream for my assistants here? Jack asked. And I'll have whatever coffee might help me recover from the embarrassment of being the worst blind date in history. I don't know about that, Emma said, surprising herself. The story of how you got that cat scratch might actually make this the most memorable blind date in history. Jack's eyes met hers, warm and grateful. I'll take memorable over worst any day. As the twins settled into chairs pulled from a neighboring table, chattering excitedly about their hot chocolate orders, Emma realized she was actually glad she'd waited those 35 minutes. There was something about Jack Bennet and his daughters that made her curious to discover more, like opening the first pages of a book she already knew she wouldn't want to put down. What Emma couldn't possibly know then was how those 35 minutes of waiting would pale in comparison to the lifetime of moments waiting to unfold, moments that would begin with this unexpected meeting of 4 souls in a quiet cafe on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. The first hour of their date passed in a blur of stories and laughter. Jack was a pediatrician who had moved to town 6 months ago to be closer to his parents after his wife, Claire, had passed away from complications during childbirth. The twins had never known their mother, but Jack kept her memory alive through stories and photographs. They have her smile, he said softly, watching as Lily and Lucy charmed the waitress into bringing them extra cookies. And her ability to wrap people around their little fingers. Emma felt a pang in her chest. They're wonderful. You've done an amazing job with them. Some days are better than others, Jack admitted. My parents help a lot, but raising twins as a single dad has been an adventure. Is that why you agreed to a blind date? For some adult conversation that doesn't revolve around Disney princesses? Jack laughed. Partly. Though lately, we've moved on to superheroes. Lucy wants to be Wonder Woman when she grows up. Lily is torn between being a veterinarian and Batman. Solid career options, Emma nodded seriously. What about you? Jack asked. What made you agree to be set up with a complete stranger? Emma considered the question. My sister Olivia is relentless. She's happily married with 2 kids and seems to think everyone should experience the same domestic bliss. And you don't want that? I didn't say that, Emma replied carefully. I just haven't found the right fit yet. My last relationship ended because he wanted me to give up my career to follow him to Singapore for his job. What do you do? I'm a children's book illustrator, Emma said. I work from home mostly, but I need to be near my publisher in the city. Jack's eyes lit up. Wait, Emma Taylor? The Emma Taylor who illustrated The Moonlight Adventurers? Emma blinked in surprise. You know my work? Know it? We've read Moonlight Adventurers at least 100 times. It's the twins' favorite bedtime story. The illustrations are incredible, all those hidden details that you notice on the 10th reading. A warm flush of pleasure spread through Emma's chest. There was something deeply satisfying about meeting someone who appreciated her work, especially the little Easter eggs she hid in her illustrations for observant readers to discover. "Daddy!" Lily called from where she and Lucy had migrated to a small play area in the corner of the cafe. "Come see what we built." Jack glanced at Emma apologetically. "Duty calls. Do you mind?" "Not at all," Emma said, finding that she meant it. She watched as Jack crossed to the play area, crouching down to admire whatever creation the twins had constructed with the cafe's collection of wooden blocks. There was something about the way he gave them his complete attention, as if their block tower was the most fascinating engineering feat he'd ever witnessed, that touched something deep inside her. Emma had dated men who viewed children as an inconvenience, an interruption to adult conversation. Jack was different. His daughters weren't an addition to his life, they were the center of it. When Jack returned to the table, Emma found herself asking, "Would you like to take a walk? There's a park just down the street. The girls might enjoy the playground." The smile that spread across Jack's face made her heart skip. "That sounds perfect." The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the park as Emma sat on a bench, watching Jack push the twins on the swings. Their delighted squeals filled the air, punctuated by calls of, "Higher, Daddy, higher." "They have so much energy," Emma remarked when Jack finally collapsed onto the bench beside her, the twins having run off to conquer the climbing structure. "Endless," Jack agreed, slightly out of breath. "Sometimes I think they're powered by some renewable resource scientists haven't discovered yet." Emma laughed. "They're wonderful, though. So bright and curious." "They get that from their mother," Jack said softly. Claire was a research scientist, always asking questions, always wanting to understand how things worked. Emma hesitated, then asked gently, "Do you mind talking about her?" Jack was quiet for a moment, his eyes following his daughters as they navigated the playground. "Not at all. It helps, actually. The first year after she died, I could barely say her name without breaking down. Now, I want the girls to know her, even if it's just through stories." "That's beautiful," Emma said. "They're lucky to have a father who keeps her memory alive for them." "I try," Jack said. "But sometimes I worry that I'm not enough. That they're missing something essential by not having a mother in their lives." The vulnerability in his voice touched Emma deeply. "From what I've seen today, you're doing an incredible job. They're happy, confident, kind, those aren't accidents. That's good parenting." Jack turned to look at her, gratitude in his eyes. "Thank you for saying that. And thank you for being so understanding about today. Most women would have left after being kept waiting for so long." "I almost did," Emma admitted. "But then two little matchmakers showed up and changed my mind." Jack groaned. "I still can't believe they marched right up to you like that." "We had a whole conversation in the car about how they were supposed to wait quietly while I apologized for being late." "Waiting quietly doesn't seem to be their strong suit," Emma observed with a smile. "Understatement of the century," Jack laughed. "But they have good instincts about people. They liked you immediately." "The feeling is mutual," Emma said, surprised by how true it was. In just a few hours, the Bennett twins had completely charmed her with their exuberance and unfiltered observations about the world. "Daddy!" Lucy called, running toward them with Lily close behind. "Can Emma come to dinner at our house? We want to show her our room and our books and Sparkles." "Sparkles?" Emma questioned. "Our hamster," Lily explained. "He's very friendly and only bites sometimes." "That's a ringing endorsement," Emma laughed. Jack looked mortified. "Girls, we can't just invite Emma over like that. She probably has plans for tonight." Both twins turned to Emma with identical hopeful expressions. "Do you have plans?" Lucy asked. Emma should have said yes. She should have made a graceful exit, thanked Jack for the coffee and the walk, and gone home to her quiet apartment to work on her latest illustration project. That would have been the sensible thing to do. Instead, she heard herself saying, "Actually, I don't have any plans tonight." The twins erupted in cheers while Jack looked at her with a mixture of surprise and delight. "Are you sure? They can be a handful, and you've already spent your whole afternoon with us." Emma surprised herself with the certainty in her voice. "I'm sure." The Bennett home was a cozy two-story house on a tree-lined street just outside the city center. It wasn't what Emma had expected, not the sterile, bachelor pad plus kids environment she had imagined, but a warm, lived-in space that felt immediately welcoming. "We just moved in 6 months ago," Jack explained as he led her through the front door. "It's still a work in progress." But Emma could see the care that had gone into making it a home. Family photos lined the walls of the entryway. Colorful artwork, clearly created by small hands, was proudly displayed on the refrigerator. A bookshelf in the living room overflowed with a mix of medical journals, children's books, and what appeared to be a substantial collection of fantasy novels. "Emma, come see our room." The twins each grabbed one of her hands, pulling her toward the stairs. "Girls, let Emma at least take off her coat first," Jack called after them, but they were already halfway up the stairs, Emma willingly in tow. The twins' bedroom was a riot of color and imagination. 2 identical beds with mismatched quilts stood against opposite walls. A large dollhouse occupied one corner, while a bookshelf stuffed with picture books dominated another. The ceiling was painted a deep blue with glow-in-the-dark stars arranged in actual constellations. "Daddy did the stars," Lily explained proudly. "He says they're the real ones from the sky." "They are," Emma confirmed, recognizing Orion and the Big Dipper. "Your dad knows his astronomy." "And look!" Lucy pointed to a shelf where a small cage sat. Inside, a fluffy golden hamster was running on a wheel. "That sparkles." For the next 20 minutes, Emma was given a comprehensive tour of the twins' most prized possessions, from their collection of rocks found in the park to their favorite stuffed animals, each with its own elaborate backstory. Emma listened attentively, asking questions and admiring each treasure as if it were a priceless artifact. When they finally returned downstairs, they found Jack in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up as he chopped vegetables. "Sorry about that," he said when he spotted them. "Did they show you their entire life history?" "Just the highlights," Emma replied with a smile. "Can I help with dinner?" Jack looked surprised but pleased by the offer. "Sure. I'm making pasta with roasted vegetables. Nothing fancy, but it's one of the few meals the girls will eat without negotiation." "We like the orange vegetables but not the green ones," Lily informed Emma solemnly. "I see," Emma nodded. "What about red ones?" The twins exchanged a look, apparently conferring on their official position regarding red vegetables. "Red is acceptable," Lucy finally declared. "Good to know," Emma laughed, washing her hands at the sink before joining Jack at the cutting board. They worked side by side, falling into an easy rhythm as they prepared the meal. The twins set the table, somewhat haphazardly, then disappeared into the living room to work on a puzzle while dinner cooked. "They really like you," Jack said quietly, glancing toward the living room. "They're not usually this comfortable with new people." "I like them too," Emma replied honestly. "They're amazing kids. They can also be exhausting, stubborn, and occasionally completely unreasonable," Jack added with a wry smile. "Just so you have the full picture." "Sounds like most humans I know," Emma laughed. "Just in a more honest package." Jack's expression grew more serious. "I should probably tell you. I haven't dated much since Claire died. Actually, this is the first real date I've been on in 5 years.